Hello and welcome to Legal Angle on Spin TV. This is the only show in India that caters to legal problems of real estate and gives you a guaranteed solution. Thank you for your response for our last week's issue on joint ventures. Well, we've been getting a lot of mails. We've been also getting a letter. So in this episode, I'm going to share a feedback from one of a genuine viewer who has given us a take. This is Hemant from Bandra, and he says, "Dear sir, thank you for such an informative show. I've been viewing your show and has helped me a lot. I was going to invest my hard-earned money in one of the properties. I did ask the same question asked by you to the builder, and he failed to reply. I was saved. Once again, a big thank you to Spin TV and a show like Legal Angle. It is a must watch." Well, thank you, Hemant, for watching us and staying connected with us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this episode, we have a very interesting issue. Like he's mentioned, he's been saved. So we have something for you in this issue, and it is redevelopment. Yes, and with me I have Mr. Vikhil Dhoka from Solicitors Lex, which has a pan-India presence and also present internationally in the US, London, Bangkok, Dubai, Hong Kong, etc. Hello and welcome to the show, sir.
Hi, Abner. How are you?
It is always a pleasure having you on the show.
Thanks for calling me again. It's very bad. It's feeling very good for listening the viewers' response over this.
So the viewers have been giving us a tremendous response, and Spin TV and Legal Angle is taking bounds and leaps. With people like you on sets, I'm sure it's just going to take it to another level. All right, so today that we're going to cover a topic called redevelopment, which has been also covered in the past with other advocates. We would like to know your perception on redevelopment as a whole that is happening. So what are the precautions someone can take when they go for a redevelopment?
See, the redevelopment of the society is very important for each and every member of the society, because they will be giving their livelihood to in someone else's hand for a better benefit to that will be derived from their livelihood. And to ascertain that, what is the better benefit they can get from that redevelopment process, for that one society first should get out the feasibility report. Okay. For that feasibility report is actually what best can be excluded from the building itself, from the redevelopment. And that job is done by an architect. If you approach architect for a feasibility report, the architect will visit your strike, considering all his technicality. He'll submit a report what exactly this building can give you, what exactly the redevelopment of your building will give you or will entitle you for a better livelihood, so increase your livelihood. So that first of all, that feasibility report is to be obtained, and according to the feasibility report, there is a 17A procedure which is to be complied with. Now, 17A procedure has been laid down by law. Earlier, what used to be the redevelopment of the society, wherein there was no transparency between the members and the managing committee or the office bearer of the society. There used to be, they used to hide something. There was not a clear what exactly the member used to get or they will get. There was no such clearance.
Nothing was transparent.
And moreover, the way the redevelopment was going on is like an arbitrarily everything managing committee used to do.
Correct.
They used to pass the resolution in their own way. So government has enacted a 17A procedure. That procedure earlier was a directive principle. It was not a mandatory. But now, BMC has made it a 17A procedure mandatorily. While obtaining IOD, the developer has to show that 17A procedure has been complied. Now, exactly what is the question in your mind will be what is 17A procedure?
Correct.
Even in the mind of the viewer, it will be what is 17A procedure? Now, the 17A procedure is first you have to float a tender. You have to appoint a PMC. Okay, and that PMC will project management consultants.
Yes.
That compose a board of like architects are there,
Correct.
a few consultants who have very well knowledge in this field of redevelopment of the society. So they draft a tender.
Correct.
And that tender provides the many clauses. There are technical clause, there are general clause, there are legal clause. Even it consider what the society is offering, like what society is asking for, what should be the best offer from a developer, any given developer. That asking what society want will get from it from feasibility report. They'll get an idea from feasibility of what actually we are entitled to, what is our right. So that minimum, that particular part will be there in a tender. So once the tender is floated, then all the terms and conditions will be mentioned. The developer will submit that tender. They will submit the bid, and then accordingly we will receive. And thereafter that tender will be opened, in the special general body meeting, and accordingly a developer will be appointed.
Okay.
Now for that, there is a redevelopment committee is being formed. A society
For the members of the society.
Members of society, a general body, a managing committee. Apart from a managing committee, the managing committee in consultance with all the members, they form a redevelopment committee who will take ahead, who will go further with the redevelopment projects and everything. So the developer will be appointed by redevelopment committee considering the offer which they receive, which is the best offer they have received, and that later on they will submit towards the managing committee, which in return will present it before the special general body meeting
to other members.
To the other members, wherein a developer can also be invited. A developer can be invited to give a presentation of the project, their profiles and everything. So that will also ascertain what actually a developer is. What a developer is. Now, in that managing committee, redevelopment committee plays a very crucial role in scrutinizing, in vetting the developers. In that case, what one of the development committee can do is like by scrutinizing a developer, besides going through what is the market scenario, what is their economic benefit they can get in their market, in their nearby locality, they can visit the sites of the developer. They can go through the projects which the developer is going to undergoing project. The developer which project which is already completed by a developer.
So technically research more on the builder.
Research more on the builder.
Of what they have selected.
What they have selected. And then accordingly, after that, once it is shortlisted, you can award your contract for redevelopment to an individual, a developer.
Perfect.
And subsequently, once that is done, thereafter, they can enter into an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, where classifying most of their clauses and everything, they can enter into that MOU.
Correct.
And subsequently, once it is finalized, they can go for redevelopment with a particular developer.
Correct.
So these are the precautions. The 79 procedure is very mandatory. Now the 79 procedure, most crucial point is that while finalizing a developer, a deputy registrar is called in special general body meeting, and that is video recorded. That all the movement, what are transpired at that point of time, video recorded. So at that point of time, in presence of a the deputy registrar, all the members consent to a particular developer, and thereafter deputy registrar give a certificate certifying that he was present at point of time when the special body meeting was called, wherein so and so things were happened and so developer is appointed by a particular percentage of members, or so many out of so many members, so many members have approved the developer, and that CD will be there and they give you a certificate.
Okay.
That's exactly when you can say 79 procedure is complied with, and you have to furnish that CD or that certificate to the BMC officer, but developer should have to submit that to the BMC officer for getting an IOD. As I told in my earlier episode, IOD is the intimation of disapproval, which is governed by section 345, 346 and 347, wherein a BMC officer shows that disapproval to the project subject to terms and conditions. That means if developer complying with terms and conditions, then he can go ahead with the redevelopment, or he can commence the work. So these are main precaution steps to be taken by 79A procedure by the society, and this will also ensure if there is any dissenting member, and because of transparency in this, it will be very task job for dissenting member to object to the appointment of any developer.
Okay. So
this will also safeguard the society in a court of law, wherein the dissenting member asks for a specific relief or the stay on the redevelopment.
Okay.
This is generally a wider aspect of the redevelopment wherein society can take a precaution.
Okay.
While doing all this thing, appointing a PMC and even appointing a lawyer, this agreement should be drafted very well. For example, the society can enter into an agreement of PMC also. So what will that PMC's role?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to come there. What exactly would be the role of the PMC then?
The PMC will do all the feasibility report. They will float a tenders and everything. They will do what the society should get, what exactly they should get, whatever the construction which has been carrying out by the developer is proper or not, that architect will ensure that.
Again, I'd just like to cut you here. So a project management consultancy is very, very important. Before they go for a redevelopment. So viewers, you need to note this: project management consultancy is mandatory for you to go on board. So he will guide you through feasibility structure, correct? He will also guide you through what and whereabouts of your project. So you can carry on from there.
Developer, while developing anything, advocate like me who know the legal aspect. But what exactly the structure should be is only architect can govern.
Only the architects, correct?
The architect can govern that. For that, even an agreement is been drafted by the advocate. There has been agreement entered between society and PMC to ascertain the roles of each other, the liability of the PMC, responsibility of the societies, and that agreement aspect also is done by an advocate.
Correct.
So doing all this thing in presence of it, I think you can take there is no risk of going for redevelopment. Moreover, you are very much protected, not only from the developer aspect, but also from a dissenting members aspect.
We're going to take a short break and we're going to be back. When we're back, we have more in conversation with Mr. Vikhil Dhoka from Solis Lex. What exactly is corpus fund?
Corpus fund is exactly what you can say is a compensation to the society, enlightening the developer to redevelop the building.
So you've heard it there, a project management consultancy is somebody that will guide you through the entire process of redevelopment, and you need to go through a redevelopment through a certain phase and a certain stage. Alright, takes me to my next question to Mr. Vikhil. What exactly is corpus funds?
Corpus fund is exactly what you can say is a compensation to the society for enlightening the developer to redevelop the building.
Okay.
It's a hardship compensation. What happens when a redevelopment, everyone knows, the members have to move out from one place to another. Or society has to take a tremendous hard job to go on with the redevelopment, to convince their members and all that thing. So it's like a society should get a compensation, a member should get a compensation. There's a hardship compensation that is called a corpus fund.
Correct.
Now the corpus fund usually depends. There are two ways of giving lending a corpus fund by a developer. Developer can give the corpus fund to the society. Society can thereafter keep that corpus fund as a fixed deposit in the bank.
Okay.
Or the society can divide their corpus fund among their members.
Okay.
Sometimes a developer also give the corpus fund to individual members. It's like directly letting over the corpus fund to the individual members. Society managing committee don't have to play any role in that.
Correct.
Sometimes this happens because if there are some issues or tussles between the members and managing committee.
Correct.
This will protect a managing committee to getting into any legal tackles or legal tangles and anything like that. So that's why many times developers also give a corpus fund directly to the members.
Okay, so what is your genuine advice for a society to keep in the bank or to distribute the corpus funds amongst individual members?
To keep it in the bank.
Okay.
For the reason, first of all, of course, that will incur interest over there. But in case of any difficulty in future, the society can use that corporate fund. Because in every development agreement, when a society enters into a development agreement, from that date itself, it's a developer's responsibility to pay all the property tax and everything.
Correct.
So in that case, if developer fails to pay the property tax or something like that, society can utilize that fund in payment of that property tax or such other things. This is an example one I'm giving you. You can utilize that fund. Society should keep themselves and in the fixed deposit, so that interest get over there and they can utilize that fund somewhere else whenever the society requires it.
Okay, wonderful. Now, if I want to have a conversation with a builder, should I approach the society or can I approach the builder directly?
Never approach a builder directly.
Okay.
As I said, under 79A procedure, there is a redevelopment committee is to be formed.
Correct.
So, if any individual members have any grievance or he want to put forward his point or he want to put forward his negotiation to the developer, then it should be through redevelopment committee. See, consider this as from the aspect of a developer also. It's very difficult for him to inquire about each and every member's demand and to satisfy each and every member.
Correct.
As everyone knows, in the present scenario, the redevelopment project or society goes on if 70% of members agrees to it.
Correct, yeah.
So it will be very difficult. There are many members. There are some societies who are having 300, 400 members. There are some societies who are having 12 members. But considering a larger aspect, it's always better to put forward your demands to a redevelopment committee. That's the reason for which that is formed. And according they will put forward to a developer. And at the end, a member demand, if it is not met to it, he has an option to negotiate with the developer when the general body meeting is called for that reason.
Correct.
Whether while calling for appointment or for execution of a development agreement, at any time he can raise that issue, he can put forward his demand. But individually he cannot. Even it's benefit for him morally also. At the later stage, developer may raise an undue advantage of that. There's an undue demand was there from a member, that's why so XYZ, I couldn't do that, so and so XY. Whatever it may be, he can take advantage of that. It may be even a negative impact on you. So it's always better and preferable, and you should actually go through redevelopment committee only because that committee is formed to represent you before developer. So it's only through that.
Okay, so viewers, when you formed a committee, you should abide by the committee rules, that is the redevelopment committee. So you should abide by the redevelopment committee rules. Do not approach a builder personally. This is what Mr. Vikhil Dhoka states. Alright, so when the project is considered and the quote is given to a certain developer, he has to undergo IOD. How is PMC's role in and the lawyer's role in framing the IOD to the members?
IOD, while submission of an IOD, the developer also has to get the plan approved.
Correct.
Now, what exactly the plan is, like what the structure will be, where will be, how the rooms will be placed, how the parking space will be allotted. The advocate like us, we have a general knowledge over it. Like you can say we are the master of all and jack of none, something like that. But to have specific knowledge or like specific where should be a parking space, how should be the rooms and everything,
correct,
how shall be the structure of the building, where should be a basement parking or not, whether the plot is feasible or not, like it should be can be feasibly constructed that way or not. So that their roles of PMC plays a role. So the plans whichever developer give to them, to the society, the society should take that plan to the PMC, to the architect, and to show that this is a plan which we have received. The architect will work on that, and accordingly, on that plan, after working, the society may get some more benefit.
Correct.
Or some more negotiation can take place. Like some parking space, there's a recent issue where I can say that society is not able to get a proper parking issue.
We have covered that. We have covered parking issue in particular in one of our episodes.
Exactly.
And you're saying it's a small issue. No, it's a big issue. There is so many things coming out of it. Yeah.
So like architect can advise them, okay, by this so and so reason we can get more parking spaces. So example I am saying you. So such other thing can happen. So that's why a PMC plays a role. And of course for documentation and everything, we are there.
We're going to take a short break and we're going to be back. When we're back, we have more in conversation with Mr. Vikhil Dhoka from Solis Lex. What is the percentage of area that they are bound to get after the redevelopment?
Every member of the society are entitled for an additional area. Is their right for the additional area.
Can you tell our viewers about redevelopment areas? If it is their right to get more areas after redevelopment, if yes, then what is the percentage of area that they are bound to get after the redevelopment?
Every member of the society are entitled for an additional area. Is their right for the additional area.
Correct.
Now, how much percentage of in a redeveloped building they should get additional area is depend upon the market scenario, as well as depend upon the locality, how much the demand is. Usually, considering the FSIs and everything, the redevelopment, the additional area which a member should get, it should be somewhere around 35 to 45% extra additional area. If their all titles and everything is clear, they may get.
But does it change from area to area?
Of course, it changes from area to area. How much the plot is feasible of, how much FSI that can be generated from there, and moreover, how much is actually the area, additional area also plays a role in deciding when there is a dispute in the plot.
Okay.
If there is a dispute in the plot, and for that, if a developer is appointed to redevelop, so first developer will invest their money in resolving the dispute. And while resolving the dispute, he has already parked his money over there. So moreover, over and above that, if you ask an additional area as per the present market scenario, it's very difficult task for a developer, and no developer will frankly come for to redevelop your plot. So somewhere you have to forego your additional area. It's a right, but it's depend upon other factors also. Considering everything clear, 35 to 45 is usually average.
35 to 40% is usually the average.
Area they should.
All right. What about tenants? Now, do they also follow the same rules as per the members, the existing members?
No. When you say a members of society or a society, in other words, you mean to say the society are owner of the plot.
Correct.
But whereas a tenant, they are not the owner. The right in that plot and a building is with someone else. That is called a landlord. So in the tenant, when the redevelopment of a tenanted building, a tenant has a very limited role. They don't get much in that redevelopment scheme. What the benefit they get is that after getting a building redeveloped, usually, and there's an agreement between the developer and the landlord. Okay, whatever the building he will construct, the existing tenant who will get a new premise in the building, as well as the new individuals who will be purchasing the flat from the developer, will get them at an ownership basis. And accordingly, subsequently thereafter, this tenant and the new purchaser will form a society, and for which a landlord will execute
So the tenant becomes the owner after the possession. After he gets the right.
Get a new that. So initially, for redevelopment, tenant has very limited role. They don't get much. They cannot get much benefit like corpus fund and this accommodation. Also, they are very rarely available for them. Very limited power. But the compensation, sometime a developer may give a compensation, landlord moving towards somewhere else. So that compensation they may get. But additional area, it's very limited aspect for them. At least they should get an area, they entitled for area which they are living in. Minimum 300, definitely. If the which they are living is less than 300, of course they should get minimum 300 as per the norms of DCR, urban control regulation. 300 they should get. But additional area is very doubtful. It depends upon the whims of the landlord as well as the developer.
Correct. This is only legal angle that gives you your rights. Viewers, it is only you get the information through our show, and you know how exactly we guide you on what parameters. Yes, we are not going to leave the MHADA residents, don't worry. What about MHADA residents, Mr. Vikhil? How can they undergo a redevelopment?
See, MHADA residents is somewhat, you can say their role is little limited like a tenanted premise, but they get some more than that. Because in the MHADA, the developer usually, the MHADA is like in the suburbs, in this side, South Bombay side, there's called a C's building. The C's building are categorized into three parts in the MHADA Act. One is from before 40, if the structure is before 1940, that is called a C's building, that's called a building, that falls in the A C's building. Then one is from 41 to 50, that is called a B category. Then 51 to 59, that's coming to C category. So accordingly, DCR also provides a provision for redevelopment of these three types of building. MHADA building is somewhat play a middle role of a tenanted property and the society. In the tenant, there is no required for a consent of 70% or anything like that. If a developer wants, he can go ahead with the redevelopment agreement. It's finally for the developer to negotiate with the tenant. The MHADA, the 70% of consent of the occupant is mandatory, is required. And what usually they get is like they should get minimum 300 square feet of area or 753 of carpet area. 753 maximum 753 carpet area. That's what the minimum maximum they get from the MHADA authority. Usually under which they developers go for redevelopment is under provision of 33(7) sub rule 7 or 33(9). MHADA also little bit different from that, but no doubt they can, if the MHADA has arbitrarily appointed the developer, or if MHADA has not appointed a good developer, the occupant can go to the court, approach court of law, asking that so and so is a hardship will be caused to me if this developer goes through, and accordingly court may do justice. Nowadays even court don't want the litigation to go on for a long time. Many times they make the party to settle it out in the court itself. They make up their advocate, they ask the advocate of the occupant what's their demand, and accordingly they settle out the matter, because court even doesn't want the matter to prolong such a long time, and as a result the many members of that MHADA building should be affected.
It shouldn't be suffered. Exactly. Alright, can you also stress a bit about amenities? Like for example, if I have a property, I don't have much amenities, and if I'm going for a new property, what kind of amenities should I work on with the builder?
See, amenity, first of all, amenity which should be worked on is about the parking space, definitely. How much parking space I should get, how much a member should get, and how much the parking space should be left on them. And finally, at the end, the additional amenities which are there, it's all depend upon how much FSI is generated in your plot. If the plot is able to generate more this FSI, then you can ask for clubhouse, you can ask for swimming pools, or such as the amenities you can ask for. But if your FSI is a small plot, if an FSI is not much, cannot be generated on that plot, then asking for amenity is very less. But what one should ask at every point of time is a parking space.
Parking space. Alright. Now we've had a lot of information on redevelopment, but before we end the show, my last Master Guru question. Can you summarize the entire chat show in your words?
Summarizing the entire redevelopment process is little tedious job, but I'll tell you, a developer should be appointed after going through checking all these profiles, whatever project he has constructed, over calling upon the tenders, then calling upon the developer to bid for it, and appointing of developer. Everything should be done in presence of your architect as well as your advocate, so that in case if you get any difficulty, they are there to help you or rescue you. And moreover, if the developer is in default, if you can terminate that agreement, you can sack the developer and revoke the bank guarantee, whatever it's there. And in case of you getting a redeveloped building and the flat or whatever you are entitled to get a redevelopment, and that is deficient, that is defective, then you can go approach a consumer court, calling upon them to fulfill that deficiency. Or moreover, you can also file a case against a developer for cheating and a fraud and whatever it may be. So this would somewhat I can say summarizing the redevelopment.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Vikhil Dhoka. And our viewers, if you want to get rescued, you have to hook on to our show, because it is only through our show you get immense information about redevelopment as a whole. Not only about redevelopment, but about property and real estate as a whole. I'll be back with a new episode, with a new guest, with a new show. Till then, see you on Spin TV. Stay tuned. Take care. God bless.